Bobby Dodge, who's a past chair, and Robert Village, who is a new member, and Ms. Dixie gave him a proxy to come over today. And I think Ms. Linda Fritz is here somewhere.
Thank you. Welcome.
I think we probably have time for one more question, about 30 seconds remaining here. Probably can get that question out and then allow time to answer that as needed.
Joanna DeFoe from Fulton County. My question is, why don't we do this Zoom? That way we save time, money, and we don't have to all drive to Little Rock. And the reason doing that, I belong to different other organizations, and we do Zoom, and they come across, you get to see everybody, you get to wave to them, whatever, and that's one question. The next question I have is very concerning to me, because I am election commissioner. What do you think about paper ballots versus machines?
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll hit on both of those. First off, I support Zoom. I think we all became a lot more acquainted with what that is during the pandemic. I know for me, as the parliamentarian of the Quorum Court, there were a lot of challenges, and we were able to overcome that. So I think Zoom is a wonderful tool that we should certainly implement on all beaches. So that it's not, I drove, it took me 3 hours to get here. And so if I could save some time, that's 3 hours I don't get with my 10-year-old, 5-year-old, and 3-year-old, and my wife. And so I completely agree with that. Now, I will say that meetings like this, when we do an election, you have to show up in person. That's about the only way those will work, in order to make sure that the people that registered and have paid their dues and are actual active members can vote. But I certainly think that as far as trainings are concerned, Zoom is a wonderful tool that we should utilize every single time. The question about paper ballots and machine ballots, and there's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of discussion in my committee about this as well. And I can't sit here and say I know every county kind of has some autonomy to kind of do elections how they can and how they can afford. I know that in Washington County we're seen as the roads paved in gold. We have a large county with a lot more funding, and so we're able to do things maybe a little bit different. But I'll tell you this, here's my thought on paper and machines and how it all works out. In Washington County, we do paper ballots. You use a machine, it prints out who you voted for, it spits it out, you get to look at it before you put it in the ballot box to make sure that it put down who you had. I don't see anything wrong with that, because I can look at that and know that it did not malfunction and put someone down that I didn't vote for. My issue with elections, and I think it's something that we've got to work on, and we've got to work with our legislators on. We need a mechanism by which it is easier for someone to contest a race. If you are a candidate and you want a hand vote or a hand count of your race, you should be able to do that. And you should be able to do that without having to go to a liberal sitting judge and ask them for their permission to do so, because it's not going to happen. Brings me a whole other issue on partisan judicial races. But I think that if you are a candidate and that's what you want, and that you are on the hook for paying for it, because I know that not everybody can afford that. There's a lot of money and time that goes into that. But I think there should be an easier way to do that. Every single person that runs for office in Arkansas should feel good about the outcome. They should be able to satisfy themselves that the election, the results that are reported, are the results and are verified in any way. And so I know that there's a lot of, around the state, there's a lot of issues. Like I said, different counties do different things. We see things in other states that we here in Arkansas will never fix. We will never fix the election problem that Arizona has here in Arkansas, right? We can only take care of ourselves. And so that's my thought on that. I think that absolutely nobody should walk away from a race thinking that they didn't get a fair shake and they didn't have the ability, and this happened in Washington County in a race, they didn't have the ability to have that count to satisfy themselves. And I don't think that's right. And that's exactly what's happening now. And that's a change that we can make, because that's a change that our legislature can make very easily. So that's my thought. That's it.
All right, thank you, Brian. That is time. We'll now have, we will try 3 minutes of questions, but again, if we run out of time,